I welcome you here again. So today we have Sai Bhargavi with us. So welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So we'll start with your academic journey first. Please tell us, ma'am.
Hi all, I'm Bhargavi. Uh, I'm I'm a BTech graduate, BTech Computer Science. Before that, I did my schooling and my 12th standard from Visakhapatnam, and I was in state board. And then I chose engineering because which is actually expected of most of us. कुछ नहीं तो engineering कर लो kind of. And then it was during my engineering I strongly realized that I was not meant for engineering. Even before that, I was actually applying for BA psychology at St. Stephen's, but the cutoff was way too high. For instance, the cutoff for outsiders, other states, was 97.5 percentage. Get into St. Stephen's for psychology, and I had 97.1. That's where as a percentage. So I was like, I wouldn't get a psychology. And if it was not from DU and from most colleges, my parents were really uh, deterring me from not pursuing BA from anywhere else. So they wanted me to do engineering and then decide my course of path. And I did my engineering from computer science. That's when it really hit me as to I was really good at computer science engineering as well. I was getting placements and everything and stuff, but I was just not really interested. Not interested as in I really felt mechanical. I really felt engineering was quite mechanical. It was not something that was very close to my heart, and I really used to feel kind of bogged down by ये सब क्या coding वगैरह सब कर, and I used to just see the future at every moment in time. I used to see कि would I be doing this 20 years down the lane? Do I see myself doing that 20 years? And the strong answer came from inside was no, this is not the way. So and this is not what I see myself as. And that's when I decided that I want to take up something around psychology. And I was from a family of academicians, so it was very natural for me to take up teaching line. And that was also the PhD was always in the line, not PhD as in becoming a professor or a lecturer. It was surely in the line during the BTech, but I was pretty sure that I would not do my master's and PhD in engineering. Then during my BTech, I decided to switch to MBA and explore courses. My father was a private lecturer in organizational behavior in Visakhapatnam. So that's where I already had a brief idea about what OB is. And then right after my BTech, I was applying to MBA colleges as well. So just because I was with the mindset that a master's is essential for a PhD until when I saw the CAT form and then I realized that, and then I explored through websites that SPM could be possible with a BTech as a background. So that's when it made the things very easy for me. And then I applied to PhDs across all IIMs. I got calls from many too, like I got calls from for the interview from Calcutta, Kozhikode, Indore, and Shillong and Kashipur. I got the calls for PhD and for PhD after my BTech. So my 13, 17 was my BTech in computer science, and 18, 22 or 23 is my PhD. So 2018, I gave the interviews for all of that, but few of them went really well. I didn't know I didn't clear them, but it could be because I did not have masters, and my bachelor's also not in right alignment with my area or field I was attempting to pursue, which is OB. And Kashipur took it, and that's how my PhD journey began. So yeah, 10th, 12th, BTech, and directly PhD.
Okay.
I did not have masters experience also.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So, ma'am, I have seen that you have already published a paper in FT50 journal. So, congratulations for that. So, because a lot of scholars dream to publish in A star, and FT50 definitely. So, do you want to share your experience about finding a particular journal topic and the journey of publishing a paper?
Okay. This I would rather make the question a little more broad and general, I would just kind of explain my personal research journey and how did things happen eventually. That would give deeper insights as to how can we survive PhD first, paper next. Surviving PhD first is really important in the paper. So
Okay.
my journey, the first 2 year we always have just as which is the case of most of the IIMs, we do the MBA coursework, and we did the MBA coursework. And at the end of the second year, I was exploring. We have CIs, kind of CIs in coffee, to explore topics as to what kind of what kind of topics do we have an inclination for. So doing so, I realized that I was really interested in the topic of spirituality because a lot of my childhood I had literatures that kind of piqued my interest. So spirituality, I really had a liking, but I was not pretty sure as to can we publish that? Is it still in vogue in the managerial literature? Because that's the question at the end of the day. Because you want paper in your hand and you want to get the PhD done. Most of the IIMs do have an implicit criteria of getting a publication before finishing your PhD or wrapping up a PhD. So spirituality was a topic that piqued my interest at the end of second year. I wanted to do something related to that. So I went directly to my professor and I went to my professor and I was like, I'm really interested in spirituality. Can we do something like spirituality and leadership? And that because that really excites me. And he kind of warned me actually, Bhargavi. Spirituality in Indian sense is kind of vast and diverse, but publishing that that core knowledge in managerial journals, which are actually of a Western perspective, usually they're not Indian based. Usually the journals are foreign journals. So that understanding, they might be open to it, they might not be open to it. And spirituality as a topic also, people might have very different, diverse, antithetical views as to few people might choose spirituality as an instrument for self growth. You might link that to religion and then they might think that bringing spirituality to managerial literature can be quite controversial to say. So I just asked him. He said that it's your take at the end of the day, and it's your call, and just be sure that अगर paper publish नहीं हुआ, तुम्हें दिक्कत होगी like that. I
Okay.
was like, इंस्टाग्राम वो देख लेंगे, but एक बार मुझे पढ़ने दीजिए like that. And he was very much supportive, and my guide was really supportive, and I went ahead with spirituality and leadership. But the disclaimer, I always wanted my first paper to be in NFT, which is looking back now, it's a very, very insane dream, very impractical dream, I would say. अगर मेरा पेपर नहीं छपता मेरी PhD रुक जाती. So I would give a word of caution, and it was very early, second year. It's very good to have a very high aim, but if you bet your all eggs in a basket, it's the case that would be very tricky. And if somebody is trying really high, I would my words and my encouragement are with you. Just go with sense of practicality, and which I lacked when I was in 20 when my second year. It took me almost 4 years per se to just to and then what and get what I want. Everybody would see the paper at the end, which is really rewarding, which is really satisfying. But I was almost on the verge as if कि अगर नहीं होगा ना सब अटक जाएगा kind of thing. सब कुछ अटक जाएगा, PhD अटक जाएगी, paper अटक जाएगा, and I would not get an extension. My stipend would be done, and my PhD coursework in 5 years is already done. So that kind of pressure takes a mental toll. So if anybody is really ambitious, I would say all the best, and you have my best wishes. But go ahead with the sense of practical wisdom or practicality. Publish what is really the criteria, and then target when you have when you know that you have ample time to give to a journal. And usually the journals take around 2 to 3 years. I was pretty much lucky. No, not lucky also. It was really daunting. So मैं बोलती हूँ कि A या A star both, all journals are really taking 1 or 1.5 years at the minimum. So go with the conviction that it's going to take time. It's not an easy work job. So
Very true.
I wrote my first JP paper in 2019. Okay. So because I wanted it, okay, there's a reason why I wanted in JD because JD was one of the very few FTs which had spirituality as a subsection.
Okay.
Spirituality, leadership and management, spirituality, management and religion as a subsection. Most of the FTs do not even consider topic of spirituality. So I had to. So you should be very sure of the topic you are doing your PhD. If you could, my suggestions for PhD scholars would be start right away with the topic of interest and just make sure that you're going to stick with the topic the next 4 years or 5 years. Matlab, if you're good doing your topic in your second year, third year, usually scholars try to convert their term papers into research papers. But if you put your legs in too many boats, you're going to sink. And that is the learning. If anybody is going to ask any personal insight from my PhD, that would be अगर हम बहुत सारे काम करते रहेंगे ना कोई भी काम में पूरा ध्यान नहीं हो पाएगा and PhD is more about depth rather than the
Yes, absolutely.
broad width.
Yes,
So
very true.
my suggestion would be just get into a topic, get see the end of it. In doing so, you will understand the literature, and the literature gets into your veins, which is like you get to the every intricate details of it. You have a very comprehensive understanding of the literature. That's when the papers also, your efforts are very much the antecedent to your results. Results तो आएंगे अगर इतने effort लगाएंगे तो that is very much natural. But the suggestion is keep don't put your legs in too many boats because it's going to be really difficult. And imagine my suggestion would be take that topic and write very different perspectives of the same topic, and like that you will understand कि क्या जाएगा क्या नहीं जाएगा क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा everything. But choosing a topic is one end, and choosing a journal is altogether a different ballgame. Be like my first and second year. This is my personal trick that I had an ABDC list. Everybody has an ABDC list, but I had a personally customized ABDC list as to I I used to sit every weekend and it was really fun of a task for me. I used to check all the ABDC journals as to top A क्या हो सकते हैं, week A क्या हो सकते हैं, top B क्या हो सकती है, week B क्या. How do I used to do that? I used to open cables. There is a website called cables where you can check on as to average normally journal कितना time लेता है, what is the mean acceptance rate of the journal. Cables for all the scholars, go to website. I don't. It will also highlight the predatory, non-predatory journals. So I used to open cables. I used to open the APDC list, and I used to open each journal and see the average time kitna le rahe hain. Usually, if it's not the paper with the big authors and names, what is the average turnaround time of the entire paper to be published? That will give a real sense. Then I used to make a Excel sheet and I used to add the input data. Ki, this is the week A, the acceptance rate is this much. So you can target this if you want the paper in kind of the time range usually. So that kind of ABDC list made, and even in doing so, you also get a knack of what are the core topics the journals publishing, what are the aims and scopes the journals actually look for. Sometimes you can be glaringly wrong about अगर एचआर का जर्नल है टॉपिक ओबी का भेज रहे हैं.
Okay.
It's a perfect mistake. We usually get bogged down with the descriptions, but the descriptions usually happen for as minute and as minor as little things like these. That topics don't even sit together. Subjects are all together. For instance, there was a journal, Personal Review, which is a pure HR journal. But my topic was code OB. So when I sent, it was my lesson to understand, okay, ye to nahi hoga, like that. So if you do that background homework as to what the journals are, what are the weak journals, your own understanding according to your own area, you get a very better understanding as to क्या target करना है, क्या target नहीं करना है, क्या हमारी topic पे कौन से journal पे जाएगा. The more you sit with the journals in the weekend, and it's a in the first and second year of PhD, this is a fun job to do. You will get because half of the publication game actually happens as to understanding what are the weak journals, what are the strong journals, what journals our topics will surely get into. हमारे there are special issues, recent special issues that will come up on your topic. Like you have to like search for that. कि मैं हमारी topic कौन से journals में vogue में है, like very recent, very trending. And if our topics, the same spirituality पे the leadership quarterly was an A star, is an A star. And 2005 में पूरा spirituality पे special issue आ गया. उसके बाद papers नहीं आए. So it will publish leadership quarterly. It's altogether different quality and like alag level league ka journal hai. But I realized that after 2005 there've not been much papers. In 2005 they've been around 15 to 20 papers on spirituality. So that's when you realize that bhai yahan pe to publish nahi hoga like that. So even though it's an OP leadership, everything sits right. But the thing is the topic is not in vogue. If you want to publish a topic and which is not in vogue, then you should write in depth as to the editors get dumbfounded as to कि क्या लिख दिया है यार, इसने like that. You can do that, all the best. If you can't do that, change the journal. So that's it. So ये सब है. So first is fixing your topic, and I would say कि trending topics would make your work easier, but choose a topic that has your heart on, because in PhD you have to read and reread the same topics again and again. Read the same literature. They were around 120 or 60 to 120 papers in spirituality and leadership literature that I had to reread and reread because of the revision. And that you could only do it first time you पढ़ते हैं, तब तो there's a curiosity that you don't know something in the paper and then you might find something. The second time when you do it, you're like, एक बार तो हो गया यार, दूसरी बार पढ़ना पड़ेगा. तीसरी बार जब करोगे, that's when it actually tests your love for the topic. Because when you have to sit with the same literature and then find out new insights with a different lens is when you have to, your real true love for the topic and literature comes into picture. So yeah, what is the easiest to choose the trending topics because if papers will be published. But what is really difficult is to stick to a topic that you love and bringing it into vogue, which is kind of difficult. But choose a topic which is very close to your heart. So the first thing, and the second thing is have a very thorough understanding of what journals are what and what would work for you. And that homework is really important. Third, my journey of if you're trying for an FP50 and A star, brace yourselves. That's a very, very daunting journey. It's not a cakewalk. If somebody says I would laugh, I would just laugh around. They would say कि ठीक है एक साल ही लग गया, but वो इस एक साल से पहले वाली journey जो है, my publishing took around one year, almost 1 year to get published, but my journey started way back 2019. I'm saying 2019 I sent my first journal to JB, my paper to JB, and it got rejected in 2020 year 2020. 2020 में reject हो गया, and it went to a review and got rejected. So I had almost 5 to 6 pages of review, and then I decided, भाई ये तो हाँ काफी exhaustive review. It was not best rejection. It was a review in depth. I realized that एक और paper लिखेंगे, and we will use whatever the kind of main points and develop a paper. Okay, so in 2020 I sat down with the reviews I had and started writing a new paper, which is my first essay thesis, which got published. So I decided कि मुझे review का time कम करना है. I know that now the paper will not go for a desk rejection. I was pretty sure that desk rejection तो पार हो ही जाएगा. Desk rejection होगा ही नहीं. And review का time कम करना है. And I want the paper to be published now. I don't want any rejection. So 2020 ending 2021 say I started writing. In 2022 April तक I wrote one paper. Everybody used to tell me that कि bibliometry तो 4 महीने में लिख सकते हैं, 6 महीने में लिख सकते हैं. If you take everybody's opinions, it's very difficult to have your own path. And I was really stubborn regarding this. And I was maybe then Bhargavi would also find herself क्या मैं गलती कर रही हूँ क्या? Because everybody is saying that it's really first they would say कि FT bhai impossible है like that. Everybody will bring you down. Even your professors would be like FT तो impossible है यार like that. During the PhD and FT is impossible. Second, bibliometry तो 5-6 महीने में लिखने की बात तुम क्या सालों साल लिख रही हो like that. They were so many comments that would so I would just shut the doors off. मतलब मुझे सुनना ही नहीं है. I would say कि I would show my paper if you have any constructive things to share, just share that. If there's something like FT नहीं हो पाएगा या बहुत time ले रही हो, but it was quite lengthy paper, really lengthy. If you see diplomatic papers, they write clusters in 1-2 paragraphs. My each cluster was around 2 pages, 2-3 pages. So when you're targeting that, it's a very difficult. Even I was putting myself in a kind of maze because I would say that because I don't have any people, any seniors or professors who had papers in similar journals on diplomacy, and others would say that कि diplomacy में इतनी लंबी diplomacy की जरूरत नहीं है, and they haven't had any experiences of that sort, and my experiences were very different and new to me. So I would never listen to anybody. I would just say कि हाँ होगा, अगर नहीं होता तो झेलूंगी, मेरा rejection देख झेलना ही का काम है like that. But when I sent in April 2022, I was pretty sure कि भाई rejection तो होगा ही नहीं. I wanted कि review ऐसे करो, मतलब review ऐसा है कि एक review में निपट जाए like that. That was my, and all these were very new to people who never experienced that. They would say कि एक FT चाहिए मैं, and I used to hear it from my own friends who were actually wanting the best for me. They would just kind of warn me, Bhargavi कोई और paper लिख दे क्योंकि ये paper time they were just concerned about me. Most of my friends, they were really none of my, I was lucky to have a friend circle. They were really supportive of me. My juniors were supportive of me. They would just kind of warn me out of concern कि right, you're betting everything on a paper. You do not write any. I don't have any parallel papers, no pipelines, no nothing. And even now, I was just focused on paper. वो ही चाहिए कुछ नहीं चाहिए मेरे दिमाग में कुछ नहीं था. So like that, when it was my 50 year was coming to an end, and it was I was really scared as to why paper नहीं आएगा, PhD नहीं आएगा, PhD नहीं होगी तो defense कब दूंगी, like all these thoughts. But I was pretty sure कि भाई अगर जान लगा रहे हैं तो एक ही पेपर में जान लगाएंगे और पूरा. And then one review, I got one exhaustive review, 3 reviews थे, एक review ने he directly accepted the paper. So if you could write a paper in a way that कि तुम्हें पता है कि review time ही कम करना है, then the first goal I took 1.5 years to literally write the paper clearly, and everybody would say कि इतना लिखने में क्या है like that, but I would sit and read by line and do it, and और कुछ exhaustive बना सकते हैं, like that was the approach. So the first one of the reviewers were like direct acceptance दे, मतलब first review के बिना ही he was like they have minor suggestions I have, I really love the paper. But the two reviewers में, the other two reviewers में, one reviewer was had major concerns, the other reviewers had a addressable, very addressable concerns as to कि एक हफ्ते में काम हो जाएगा like that. So I got the 3 reviews, and then I decided कि अब तो जो major concern वाला है, जो major reviewers, the reviewer who had major concerns, I would sit with that for 1.5 month and finish that. कि मतलब उनके हर point को I will address in at least 2 to 3 different ways, so that he would be really satisfied. And then I got a minor was like कि it was a conditional acceptance. References set करके दे दीजिए, we will publish it. So the journey, people see the publication time journey. People don't see that I really took 2 years to just write the paper, line by line, build and reread the papers again. It was you would say it was just a bibliometry, but it is not a bibliometry that is published. My bibliometry it is a depth you give to papers. So at the end of the day, am I satisfied with my efforts? I'm really satisfied with my efforts. And if I just pray that I get this ample time to give into the rest of the papers I ever build in, so that I'll have I'll sleep myself with immense satisfaction.
Okay, ठीक है. That's wonderful. Quite interesting and wonderful, inspiring that journey that your experience share with all of us. So, ma'am, is there anything last words you want to share with all the scholars and viewers? Quick words.
Yes, my 2 cents. The journey, publication, and all to chalta rahega. Rejections are a part and parcel of life, and this is not a philosophical dialogue I'm giving you. The more you get your rejections in your right place, the more thick your skin becomes to rejections. That's when you can you will lose the fear of it, and then you're trying to go beyond that. Okay, so don't be afraid and don't fear rejection. Second, PhD is not about this. Part of it is about publication process and getting your publications right, but most of the PhD journey is about mental health. Uh, do have some hobbies throughout your PhD journey because the hobbies will keep you alive. Nobody talks about the mental toll. It is it, PhD journey is quite lonely, and I am a very social person. And coming from a social person, I really do feel that PhD journey is quite lonely. So, if you have make hobbies, do engage yourself in extracurricular activities, and see that PhD is a part of life. PhD is not the life. In fact, the kind of suicide rates that happen for people among PhD students is, a, is an alarming signal as to there's something that is really blatantly wrong that is happening among the PhD students, is because we think PhD as the end of the life. It is not the end of the life. It's a journey, and it's quite a very small part of life. Uh, Significant, but a really small part of life. So have a hobby, have some extracurricular activities, do all the fun you can do in your college. Imagine that these 5 years at the college is the time you can really have fun with your friends, develop friendly relationships, look beyond college, engage in some activities that are not just related to college, as in you can volunteer in some organizations outside and have a startup, engage in a you can do experiment in your PhD is what I would say. But एक discipline रखिए कि 3-4 घंटे आप पढ़ते रहिए
Uh-huh.
and do your PhD work sincerely for 3 hours and then chill. I would
Okay.
suggest everybody to chill for PhD because jitna mentally you'll be really peaceful and strong is you can do wonders.
Yes,
So
absolutely. So thank you so
have
much.
some mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your learning experience with all of us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.